Sherri Papini said Gone Girl. Did I say her name right? Or did I just say it sounded like penis for a minute?
That was, should keep that in.
Should I keep that?
Yeah,
Should we keep that?
keep
All
it
right,
in.
fine. So Sherri Papini said Gone Girl walked so she could sprint into a fake kidnapping with a side of racism and a reunion with her ex.
And somehow still not the most unhinged storyline we're talking about today, because over in the Hamptons, Summer House is crumbling like Loverboy can in the sun.
Paige is out, friendships are toast, and we have some questions.
Let's get into it. This is Crime, Cocktails, and BS. I'm Kaisa, and that's Alex, and we're gonna dive in.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Let me introduce this episode's cocktail. This is the Giggly Peach.
Pretty.
It's very pretty.
So pretty.
Pretty refreshing and a little flirty, just like Paige. This is inspired by Paige.
Did
Uh,
you come up with a catchphrase for the
I
cocktail?
did. I did.
What a day.
What
This
a
is like
day.
so many new things are happening. I'm loving it.
Um, yes. This is gin, peach puree, lemon juice, coconut cream, raspberry preserves, and prosecco with a mint sprig and peach ring on the rim as a garnish.
As in
Beautiful.
the candy peach ring.
Yeah, looky, looky. Hold on.
Sour peaches are my favorite candy,
Ooh,
so
I just dripped everywhere. But yes,
you're
they're
fine.
tasty. I have a lot of extra ones that I get to eat. So,
Well, just let me book a flight and I'll
yeah.
be right there.
Come here, peach
Come
ring.
here. Actually, I wanted to ask you, it was like 90 degrees here today.
Oh gosh.
What, I mean, you're in San Diego, which it like gets hot, right? I mean, yeah, it gets
Hmm.
hot. Not like, right? It gets hot.
I mean, it has been June gloom, but like the last couple days, the sun came out and it's hot as fuck.
Is that like a thing down there, June gloom?
Yeah, it's like overcast the whole month of June, like May
That's
and
cute.
June. Yeah.
That's like Carl the Fog in San Francisco.
Yeah, exactly.
We just have had 14 straight weekends of rain.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's
That's
this weekend's supposed to be fine. But we'll find out. Where is it really raining though? It's pouring shit all over our topics today. Yes, that was my segue.
gorgeous.
Terrible. Terrible. Or as the majority of the world says, terrible.
Terrible.
Yes, we're saying we're talking about Sherri Papini, who faked her own kidnapping, but was it fake? We'll talk about it. Then we're gonna hop on over to the Hamptons because Summer House is officially over for season 9, but the drama is continuing with so many people leaving and some surprisingly people staying. Who knows? But we're gonna talk about it obviously because Paige Desorbo is officially leaving the show, which we'll get into how we both feel about that after this. So let's talk about this crazy lady, the OG Gone Girl herself, Sherri Papini.
I call her Panini.
I fall over her name every time because I think I read it as Papini, but I have your voice in my head saying Panini. And then I almost said penis like 4 times when trying to record the open. So
Dane calls her Papipi.
yeah, like it's not helpful. It's
Sorry.
not helpful. None of this information is helpful.
It's really funny. It's a unique name, gotta say.
For a very unique person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch the new docu-series?
Of course I
Of
did.
course.
That's what we are talking about today.
Hmm.
But I guess we should give a quick overview for those of our listeners or viewers, hey, who may not know who she is. I'm happy to do it.
I am too, whatever you want.
Okay. Well, you have all this crazy deep dive stuff
You
that
go.
I
Do
didn't
it.
even know about.
Do it.
So
Do
I
it
guess
up.
I'll introduce this crazy lady. Okay. So quick overview is on November 2nd, 2016, Sherri Papini disappeared during her morning jog near her home in Redding, California, which is sparked a large-scale search involving police and volunteers. 21 days later, she was found battered and claiming she had been abducted by two Hispanic women who tortured her and branded Exodus on her skin. By the way, when I was reading that, did it make you think of Nexium at all?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. I'm not
Exactly.
alone in that. Great.
Exactly.
I'm sure there's other like cults and people who have been branded, but I think because just Nexium has been like the most recent one.
Hmm.
Okay.
So creepy.
Authorities later determined that the abduction was faked. DNA evidence linked her to her ex-boyfriend, James Reyes, who she had stayed with during the disappearance. And then in March 2022, Papini was arrested by the FBI and charged with mail fraud and making false statements. She pled guilty and was sentenced to 18 months in prison, along with an order to pay approximately $300,000 in restitution for investigative costs. By the way, we're now in 2025 and she still has to pay that off.
Yep.
Yeah. She was then released in August of 2023 and entered supervised release until at least 2026. There have been multiple docuseries on this, including Hulu's Perfect Wife, The Mysterious Disappearance of Sherri Papini from 2024, which is all from her ex-husband Keith's perspective. And then you have the one that we're going to talk about today, which is Investigation Discoveries, Sherri Papini Caught in the Lie, which is on HBO Max, HBO, whatever they're calling themselves these
I
days.
think now they've switched back to HBO Max.
They did, but like, why? My app icon's the same.
No one wanted it to be Max in the first place. So,
Yeah, like what are we doing? Anyway, this now features Papini's first interview, a bunch of reenactments, which are kind of hilarious, a polygraph, and her shifting narrative. What did you think of the docuseries? What did you think were like key points for you?
yeah, I
All that
think
jazz.
it was really interesting how they had her telling her side of the story, but then they were like interweaving people who were close to the case into it and like them telling their side of the story, which was like clearly this is a lie. And then she comes up with even more lies in her interview. It was just like really well done the way that they were paralleling those things. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Her demeanor threw me off.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like she was very controlled and thinking about every word she said. And
Mhm.
like, did you get that? It was just like very like calculated
Yeah. I mean,
practice
the second
sentence.
she's like sitting down and she's like kind of being a little funky at the beginning, and then they're like, we're rolling, and then she realizes it, and she kind of has that moment where you see her kind of be like, okay, I gotta like get into a zone now. But then she's trying to come off like this really chill
Yeah.
42-year-old woman who like she's trying to get her story across, but it's like not super believable, but then I don't know. Then you're hearing of people believing her, like her therapist, which I know we should talk about, and like
Yeah.
I don't know. It was all very complicated.
It was. And sh yeah, the like cool girl vibe she was putting on, it was definitely just like deflecting and like trying to make it a joke how victimized she was by all angles. Like, oh,
Hmm.
this is so ridiculous, you know? Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know, it kind of plays into the mental illness they were talking about with
Hmm.
her lying, how she's always the victim in her story,
Yeah.
basically.
Which I'd never heard of self-defeating personality disorder before.
What the hell?
Yeah. So her therapist, Dr. Stephen Diggs, was a part of the series, and they reenacted a polygraph test, and he diagnosed her with self-defeating personality disorder. He is suggesting that her dishonesty stems from deeper emotional pain, which I get. I understand that as a trauma response, but this is like a big thing to lie about.
Yeah. So like self-defeating personality disorder means people compulsively lie to protect themselves emotionally, which I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like there's a very thin line,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
thin.
And the polygraph thing was really interesting to me. Like people can control those, first of
Oh,
all.
yeah.
And the contradictory answers and results. It was
Yeah.
very weird.
There was one or two questions that were asked about whether she was free to leave during the 21, 22 days that she was with her love in her emotional affair partner, James Reyes, and whether she asked him to brand her.
Hmm.
She said both no to both those questions, and those came back truthful, which I'm guessing in my this is a theory of mine that if she wanted to go back to court and get it changed so she could actually gain like joint custody with her kids or something, that they could use this as evidence to be like, no, she actually was kidnapped
Would they allow
by her
polygraphs as
ex-boyfriend.
evidence, though? I don't think they do.
I don't know, but with seeing how the Karen Reed case was able to use her interview she did in docuseries and online as evidence, maybe they could use
Yeah.
like anything from this docu-series as evidence.
Hmm.
That's a wild theory I have.
Yeah, but then Reyes, he said that she planned the whole thing. She asked for everything, and that came up as truth. So,
So who's actually telling the truth?
right, who's telling the truth? I think he was acting in a way, personally, I think he was acting in a way where he is not a guilty person. Like, I think he was like, yeah, she asked me to do all this. Like, he wasn't getting defensive about anything he didn't seem sketchy. So that's what like convinced me, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you on
I don't
that.
know.
I
People
didn't
are good
think
at
he
lying,
seemed
though.
sketchy. Also, just like she was like flip-flopping a lot on things and her narrative kept changing, which if you're supposed to be this essentially expert liar to protect yourself, shouldn't you like maybe have your ducks in a row on that? I don't know.
Yeah, her story changed multiple times. Like law enforcement and her own family, her own mom was skeptical. She was like
Yeah.
saying, I don't know if it was editing or what, but she was saying like, I don't think she was kidnapped, but I do believe she was traumatized. So,
Yeah, and Sherri actually came out after that episode aired,
mhm.
saying that that was taken out of context, that her mom actually does believe that she was kidnapped.
Yeah, but I
I'm
want
like,
to
but
hear it
how
from
could that
her.
be taken out of, yeah, but how could that be taken out of context if she said, I don't necessarily think my daughter was kidnapped, but I do think she experienced trauma.
She
Like,
literally said it. It wasn't
yeah.
like clipped together words, you know?
Yeah. And then Sherri was also, and I mean, then you have her sister and you have her ex-husband who are a part of this. And Sherri is now claiming that her sister and her ex-husband had a inappropriate relationship during the whole thing.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if that was necessarily what was happening during this.
It's like a
Um,
mourning slash trauma thing because it's
yeah.
like you're going through the same thing as them. So I don't know.
Yeah. And even the director, Nicole Rittenmeyer, has admitted that she went into it expecting it to be like this full-on hoax when talking to Sherri, but now in the end, she feels that like multiple truths can exist. So she believes that there's both potential manipulative intent and genuine trauma trying to coexist in this story. I don't know. What do you think of that?
I don't know. Mental illness is so insane. Like she could have been asking for all the things, but still getting traumatized by it, you know? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's, I don't know. The whole thing where at the beginning, if you
Hmm.
don't know the story, she claimed that two masked Hispanic women kidnapped her.
Yeah.
So I didn't get her response like her explanation of that. It was very weird. She was like, it looked
Because she
like,
wasn't explaining it.
yeah, yeah,
Because it was a lie,
exactly.
allegedly.
She's like,
We have to
they
put
looked
allegedly
like
in
his
this.
mom or something like that.
Like, none of it really made sense.
Yeah.
And she also does not, like, I think it's such a good point you made that, like, her ex-boyfriend or James came off as very truthful, whereas Sherri was so all over the place. It's like, how
Hmm.
can you trust this person?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that she invented the two women in the story as a way to protect her children's custody. So her ex-husband Keith put a post-nuptial agreement together saying that if Sherri did cheat on him because he was finding out about these things, that he would gain full custody of their children. And she then did all of this and he still gained full custody of the kids.
Yeah, do you think her continuing the lie is because of that still? Because she just wanted to like have kinky sex with her ex and she had to like come up with an elaborate scheme to not have her kids taken away and to still get money from her husband. Like I don't
I think if she
are you
wanted to have access to her children, there were a lot of easier ways and simpler ways of doing that
yeah.
than
Yeah.
coming up with this elaborate scheme and lie and essentially doubling down on it, tripling down on it now.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know, after watching it, I don't necessarily believe her. I think maybe she did experience some crazy shit in this case. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know much about inflicting that amount of pain on oneself with branding.
Yeah, well, they said that he did it.
Did he admit it?
Yeah, he said that she
Oh,
asked for it.
well then I'll cut all that out.
And it's okay. They, uh, yeah, he said that she asked for it and that he didn't know what it meant. What was the word again?
Exodus?
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like if he were lying about that, he would have like a story about what it was about or something. I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's a weird thing to admit to.
Yeah.
Also, like, how could you brand someone that you're like,
Well, if it's like a sex thing, people are into
but
that.
was it?
I think that's what he was saying. I don't know.
Listen, I'm all about you do you, enjoy your
Not
life,
gonna
but
kink
my
shame.
rule is always, I'm not going to kink shame. My rule is as long as you're not hurting yourself or others, we're good. But that is actually inflicting pain. Like, in not like a fun,
Like hot wax.
sexy kind of way. This is in like a
It's like damaging
third degree
to your
burn
body.
kind of
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Right? I don't know.
Also, why Exodus? Why not like
Right. And they
they
kept
never
asking
explain the
them.
word. Like, what is the definition? I love using Google
Exodus,
during
isn't
this
it
scene.
just like escaping something? So that's what she was trying to do.
It is. It actually primarily refers to the departure of the Israelites from Egypt in the book of Exodus.
Hmm. I feel like it
I
was like something she was having like a breakdown and was like spiraling. This is me making this up, allegedly, everything not the truth. Uh,
I love coming up with a theory.
I think she was spiraling, had a little mini breakdown, wanted to get away because she was stuck at home being controlled by her husband with those kids constantly, wasn't allowed to spend money, like all of that. If that's true.
She was in a pressure cooker.
Yeah, so she had to get out and she was like coming up with this elaborate scheme and I think the Exodus has to do with it because she's escaping and
Like a mass exodus.
yeah.
You're a genius.
I mean, right? Doesn't it make sense?
You're the smart one out of the group. I'm the personality hire.
Shut up. Uh
I used to say that at at my old job.
I know, I love that. Mental health experts actually suggested in the series that she had severe cluster B personality traits.
The fuck does that mean?
It's
You're gonna explain it anyways.
yeah,
Yeah.
it includes compulsive lying, complex manipulation techniques designed to keep herself in a victim role.
But does that mean then she's actually a victim or just she manipulates a story in order to come off as the victim?
That's what it sounds like. There's more I have to talk about, like other people's takes on and experiences with her that I will talk about. But
Oh my God, yes, please.
so basically, with the complex B or cluster B personality traits, it's basically where the lying creates dopamine rushes in the brains, similar to like addictive substances,
Hmm.
like gambling or substance abuse. So she might not be choosing to lie. She might just have a compulsive behavior. Her brain like literally rewards her for doing. So she's just like, maybe she
That's
can't
crazy.
stop. Yeah.
Guys, I
So
just have to lie in order to make myself feel good.
it's just wild to think about that. Like your brain, I don't know. Like I have ADHD and like spending money and stuff like that gives me dopamine, so it's like a compulsive behavior. So like
Well, I mean, everyone feels
it's
good.
so bad though. There are things like that that like every mental illness causes. Anyway, okay.
True.
So, oh God, I'm gonna say his name wrong. Sh Shaheen Davari? I can't
Sure.
remember from the last season of Survivor that like was just on.
Yes.
Shaheen, is that right?
I think so. Just drop this bomb. I'm so excited.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
So it's kind of random, but it's relevant. He dated Sherri back in the day and told Inside Edition in 2022 that he never believed the kidnapping story for a second. He said she was a compulsive liar, the kind of person who would vanish for a few days when he was dating her and then show up with some over-the-top fantastical explanation about where she was and what happened. He was also a surfer and he would like and she said she was a surfer too, and he would invite her all the time, and she always had an excuse of why she couldn't go. And
Because she didn't know. Oh,
she didn't know how. She faked a heart condition to get out of it once. So like it's just she's not
what is wrong
well.
with people?
Yeah, she's not well.
Not well.
Not well. And then I watched the Vile Files where Sherri was on as a guest. It's very clear Nick does not believe a word she's saying, but her
Yeah.
his wife, I can't remember her name, but she was like feeding into it like, "Oh my gosh, that must have been so hard." Like they were like playing different sides. It was really
Yeah.
interesting.
I always appreciate when Nick like openly shows that he doesn't like the guest or like doesn't agree with them or like he
Like
knows he's having them
Sandoval.
on for the yeah, he's having them on for the sake of having them on because what's happening with them is relevant.
Yeah.
But he does not hide, he doesn't sugarcoat, he doesn't hide the fact that like he either doesn't like you or doesn't agree with what you're doing. So it's like I have a list of people I'd love for him to go on his show just so he can like kind of rip him a new asshole.
Yeah, like he was just like, "Why didn't you say that on the docuseries then?" Like
Yeah.
so yeah, she brought up like the sister and her ex-husband having an inappropriate relationship. She talked about that. She was talking about how she just always says, me and the police and the detectives have such a bad relationship. I can't bring any of this new stuff that I'm telling the truth about to them. Like but you can go on some random podcast and talk about like I don't know. I don't know. It's just
That's yeah. That's like my issue, I think, with like re more recent in the times crimes is that why aren't you saying these things in court when you're on the stand, when you're testifying, when you're talking to your lawyer, when you're talking to the police, whoever it is that's supposed to be like on your side or like who you're supposed to trust? Why are you going on like not saying that they're random, but like why are you going on a podcast and being like, this is my thought on this. This is like what I wanted to say but didn't get to. Well, why didn't you get to? If your attorney is cross-examining you,
hmm
you can say I want to be able to say this or they'll tell you this is an important thing for you to share. I don't understand. And now I think like I said with the Karen Reed case, the fact that they were able to use the interview footage as evidence is hopefully going to change the game now that in more of these cases where people either aren't taking the stand or they aren't sharing a
Yeah.
ton while on the stand and testifying that now the jury or, you know, the defense or the prosecution can now use that interview footage as a way to like essentially like have more testimony.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, especially now too. I mean, I feel like more and more people are choosing to not testify, and yet it's literally like the state versus blank. So it's like, was the state versus Karen Reed, the state versus Sean Diddy Combs? Both are choosing or chose to not take the stand.
I feel like they should have to.
I think if it's like the state versus a
Yeah.
person, the person should have to testify. I agree with you.
Yeah, because it is like that's where the truth comes out. They like rapid fire, put pressure on you, like ask really hard questions, and it stresses people out when they're on a stand doing that, answering questions. I think that's where like truth comes out. I don't know. I don't know. I guess that could be like
Under pressure,
intimidation. Yeah. I don't know.
I like it.
So is she trying to heal and tell the truth for the first time? It seems like a PR move, but it didn't really work.
Well, I mean, it's this is definitely one of those people that are very polarizing. So, like, her supporters are even more behind her now, or, they say that it's a more nuanced picture of her, and, like, suggesting that there's a lot more psychological wounds and internal conflict within Sherri than maybe we knew prior. But then,
Hmm.
then you have the skeptics who are viewing her more now as a manipulator, as someone you can't trust. And, it's just a way to rebrand herself. So it feels like it's becoming more polarizing than it
Hmm.
was. But I think that's also due to the fact that I think now with all these like hot cases coming out the docuseries like right after or during it, it's going to create a polarizing view
Yeah.
based on like editing, the director, what's being said. Who knows what they left on the cutting room floor?
Yeah, like what was in the contract? Was she allowed to pick and choose? Like what? Because she didn't choose well. So
No.
sorry. That's just my
And like,
opinion.
how much did she have to do
Hmm.
with it? Who was picking and choosing what questions were included in the
Yeah.
series? What questions was she answering, or what things she said maybe that they didn't include? It's not as like documentaries are supposed to be like the purest and most truthful form of film, but are they?
Not anymore. It's very much
No.
like, yeah, opinion pieces for sure.
Yeah, and especially when you have ones like Blair Witch Project that you believed for a long time was real, and then you
I
find out it
did too.
wasn't.
I did too. And I love that movie. It's so
That was
scary.
so scary.
It's still so scary. Like if you watch it now, it's still that scary.
Believed it for the longest time. I hate to
Same.
admit it, but I believed it. You
Same.
believed it too. That makes
Yeah.
me feel better. Thank you. But like, how
So
are we supposed to trust?
I know.
In all seriousness, not saying Blair Witch. I mean like actual docu-series, documentaries.
Who is telling the truth now in this day, in the age of Britney
Us.
Spears?
You said it.
I
That
am
was like a
becoming
gift.
Alex.
That was a gift. I'm tearing up.
Aw, that was for you.
Oh my God, I love you. That made my day. Literally, there's I have waterproof mascara on and yet still came off on my fingernail because that's how
Oh,
moved I am right
aw, so glad I could move you.
now. I'm moved. Never happens.
Okay, either way, either.
Either, neither, neither. Yes.
Sherry Papipi is messy, and we're here for it, I guess.
Be a messy bee.
She a messy bee.
She a messy bee. That's a good cocktail name. I'll have a
Ooh,
messy bee, please.
or it has to be she a messy bee.
She a messy
I'll
bee.
have a she a messy bee.
I'll have a she a messy bee. I love it. Love, love. What I don't love is Paige Desorbo leaving Summer House. Do I not love it? Do I love it? I have
No,
thoughts.
right?
You have thoughts. Let's get into
Let's
it.
get into it. Yeah, should we start with Paige then?
Sure. Yeah. So obviously, Paige announced actually at the end of the reunion that she would no longer be coming back to Summer House.
Yeah.
What did you think of her before we get into that? What did you think of her like actually during the reunion?
She seemed like I mean, the whole season and the reunion, she seemed like she didn't care and did not want to be there. That's what I
Yeah.
felt like. Yeah. I don't know.
I kind of agree. I think also I think she kind of knew it was her last hurrah.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why she was a bit more
Like
kind of like
emotional.
emotional. I also felt like she was a bit more upfront. I think she was a bit more,
Yeah.
she wasn't holding back as much, maybe,
Especially to Lexi.
especially to Lexi. And then, I mean, even like her blowout with Kyle, like
Hmm.
she didn't have to come back out.
I guess you're probably right. Yeah. I think it was her time,
Hmm.
and I'm happy for her, but I don't know if Summer House is gonna be okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be huge shoes to fill. I also think like Paige really became the face of it, the face of the
Yeah.
franchise. So when the face leaves, it's either who's going to step forward and be the person who kind of like fills her shoes, or you just going to need to like update half the cast.
Yeah.
I think they could use a shakeup, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle and Amanda, I don't
Mhm.
know. Are they
Well, they were just in Cannes. He was doing a DJ set and she was with him,
okay? Okay.
like behind the DJ booth. So
Okay, but she was like, if you don't stop partying and going 24/7 for your company, I am done. So I don't know. We'll see. And
I
then,
think, yeah.
yeah, and then Lexi's gone, and then Emerald just announced he's gone. Lindsay's gone.
Is she gone though?
Well, it wasn't confirmed, but she was basically like, I don't think I'll be at the house every weekend, but I might show up. Like she might be a
Maybe,
guest.
yeah, maybe she'll get stepped like knocked down to like just friend of
Yeah, friend of for sure.
instead of like full. But maybe with, I mean, granted, Emerald and Lexi was more like a full-time member. Emerald was more of like a friend.
Yeah, his editing
So
was weird.
it was, and I think it was great to actually get more of his personality and more of his background during the reunion. I wish we saw more of that
Hmm.
during the actual season instead of them essentially painting him to be this like sex crazed maniac who's going to orgies every weekend, which he
Yeah,
explained he's like, I've been to maybe three.
right. And like honestly, what he was doing wasn't that crazy. Other guys brought a
No.
bunch of girls to the house back in the day, like in the first seasons. Like
Maybe that's why they made it seem like it was a lot
they're
because
older now.
yeah, because they're like in their 30s and early
Yeah,
40s. Lexi was the youngest in the house at like what,
26
24,
or something.
26.
Yeah,
And then you have Kyle who's 42, 43.
which is wild. Dana's turning 40 this year, by the way.
What?
Old man.
I love that. No, it's honestly, it's like when I was just on vacation with my cousins, it's my oldest cousin's 43 and my youngest cousin is 21.
It's so weird, like knowing 40-ish year
Yeah.
olds now, based on like what I used to think of them when I was a child. Like they were so
Yeah, when you're like
old.
25, you're like,
Yeah.
ew.
But
Like
now I'm
what?
like, you're
Now
not
we're
that
like
old. Yeah.
35 and we're like, oh, that's nothing.
Yeah.
What?
But like,
Watching your dating age range change on Hinge is probably one of the funniest things ever. Because like the last time I was on it was 3 or 4 years ago, and I was looking at my age range and I was like, oh, I gotta slide it.
that's funny.
It's like this is not okay.
But 26 and 43
40,
or whatever, that's a
43.
big age.
That's a jump. I mean, what would you even talk about?
I don't know. They just got drunk together.
How many years is that?
I can't do math.
17?
I'm not a math person. Are you
I
joking?
think I did it.
Yeah.
17? Did I
Yeah.
do it right?
Yeah. Probably. I don't know.
I'm really good at like simple math. As I'm typing, but I'm good at math, but not looking up shit because I was starting to type in math on my phone to get a calculator.
Math. Math help. Um,
17. So like what, you're a senior in high school when this chick's born, you're like, oh yeah, we got a ton in common. Let me just chat. But like him and Amanda were friends with her before, and I don't know.
yeah.
I also just thought, what did I need to know your opinion on Lexi saying that she was trying to like support the girls, kind of be like,
Mm-mm.
her statement was kind of weird.
Okay, so I did see her like her story about how when she started liking Jesse and they started like dating, he had her all to himself and like she didn't really get to know them. I saw that happening.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we called it
Yeah, and like dickmatized, whatever. I get
tickmatized.
it, but it's like summer house, like you're all supposed to be friend. I don't know. It just felt weird that she didn't try to get to know the other girls as much. And then she expected them to like be hardcore on her side when they warned her about him. I don't know. It just felt
I think
very
this is
weird.
a classic story or a classic scenario of Lexi's the kind of girl who wants to be in a relationship. She's a relationship girl.
Yeah.
And Jesse wanted a girl to have around, but Lexi said, I won't do anything with you until unless we're monogamous, we're in a relationship. And Jesse is the kind of guy that's like, okay, then we're in a relationship. And I'm going to tell you all the things so I get what I want.
He is a fuck boy to the T. Like
With a capital F, dude.
he fucking yeah, he used her so bad and like the family stuff that's fucked up. Like he's manipulative. That was really
Bringing
kind
the
of dark.
families into it, first of all, I
Yeah.
don't think you should ever meet a parent or a relative of the person you're dating until you're like in it,
Yeah,
not like 2 weeks in.
definitely. Because
Also, saying I love you within the first 2 weeks,
that was unhinged.
red fucking billboard, not even a flag, like
Yeah.
giant turn around.
And after the toe sucking thing, still like kind of dating. Like I don't get it. He definitely cheated on her.
Yeah, there was no way you were in a room for that long and only your big toe was sucked. Ooh,
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah.
I understand from one side of it that, like, if I were Lexi, I would want the support of the girls during the reunion of, like,
Yeah.
don't you see how I'm hurt? Don't you see how this has affected me? But also, she didn't really do much to get them to be friends with her unless she was having issues with Jesse.
Right. She would like run to them and then they would comfort her and be like, we're on your side. And then she would start just like turn around and date him again and ignore them. Like, so it's like the girl who cried wolf, kind of like,
Yeah, the girl who cried, my relationship sucks, help me. And then when it's good, she's like, la 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 la, okay, bye. Like,
I
I don't know you,
I knew
kind of
people
thing.
like that. I knew people like that
Same.
growing up. Yeah.
I think I was like that when I like liked a boy when I was
I
15.
think
And
I
then
probably
you're
was
supposed to
too. Yeah.
you grow out of it, or you're supposed to, or you hopefully do.
Yeah.
But apparently, clearly, not everyone does. I'm a hater today.
Well, and I did feel for her because Jesse was a total manipulative jerk. But
He
then I
sucked.
also saw like, I don't know, it was like those it's just so clear the maturity levels between the girls who have been on the show and then Lexi. Like it's just so
So
I don't
different.
know, it just isn't really working anymore. I don't,
Yeah, it is. I don't know. I think they either need to get like a whole new cast that's all around the same age range and let them go,
yeah.
or they need to like ask Sierra to bring on a friend, or like West and Jesse, like, do you guys know anyone else? Also, I think it gets to a point, I think this is with any cast on any show like this, in reality TV especially, when a cast gets too famous or
Yeah.
too well known, and then they essentially become almost greater than the show, like Paige, you either need to leave, like Paige did, or you need to like slow your roll and like make the show work for you. Yeah.
Apparently, yeah, apparently Kyle, Carl, Sierra, and then other people they're randomly sprinkling in. I hope the people they're sprinkling in are their age. That's all I'm gonna say. Because
I hope so too.
otherwise it's too weird. What did you think about Carl?
Which part?
There's so many parts. Carl in general is tired and old.
I love Carl.
You do? Ugh.
I love him. I love him
Oh.
so much.
Oh.
I think he's like a wounded deer
Okay, when
to
he said
me.
his
And
favorite porn was tan lines, I did die over that.
like he's so ridiculous. And then like what about when he's trying to hit on Sierra and she's like, dude, you do not know how to read a
He
room
was
or
just
like know
like,
what timing is. And I'm like, oh, poor Carl.
okay, yeah, he's endearing, but he's
He's
dumb.
very
He's
endearing.
so dumb. This
I
whole
know, but I
like
think that's
couple
why I
thing,
like him. I think
he's
that's why I love him, is he
doing
is
so
just
much fun.
so. I have to give, I play devil's advocate. Mocktail bars are becoming really popular.
Yeah,
So maybe he can like, if he can figure it out, it's like maybe it'll work for him. You know what I really think is like, I think the theme song to this show should be Sabrina Carpenter's Man-Child.
yeah, yeah.
I feel like
Agreed.
the best way to explain it. I think on these Bravo shows where it's like, I think so many of them are such like female heavy casts, which
Yeah,
makes sense. I think when we see these shows that have like a greater amount of men on it, and straight men in particular, they're not showing us or making us believe that they're like quote unquote good guys
No, not at all.
out there. So when you have one that seems like a wounded deer like Carl, you like I'm like I love him.
Okay, okay, okay. I get your side of things. He just like kind of gives me the ick.
Yeah, I love him.
But I have to say, he dealt with Lindsay being pregnant like in the most mature, calm
That could have gone
way.
sideways so fast, especially with how she decided to announce it to everyone with that giant photo. Like he could have absolutely been like, I was just engaged to you. What the fuck is happening? Like,
And when she accused him of like cheating during their relationship,
oh yeah.
like that ended up okay. Like everyone's like sober Lindsay is like the best person ever.
Also, I really enjoyed Lindsay.
Yeah, she needs to be pregnant constantly, I think.
I think this motherhood journey for her is really great. I mean, it sucks that her and her boyfriend broke up.
Yeah.
She's kind of like navigating this now, but now she has her daughter. She
Did they
seems really
though?
happy. That's what she's, I don't know. That's what she
Did
said.
they? So there are a lot of hot takes on that maybe she's doing it because he didn't want to be involved in the reality TV
Mm.
and she's going to, so they're living apart, but they're still, she said they hung out like all the time still, and they still
Yeah.
slept together, and they still like maybe they're just saying they're not together.
Do you think if Summer House were to continue down this road of including new people or going with a new cast, do you think it could continue on? They're going into season 10. How many more seasons can they go?
I don't know. I don't know. It feels like it's fizzling out and it's the end of an era, but also I would still watch it no matter what, probably.
Yeah.
So,
And I hate comparing it to this show, especially with Paige, but like it's kind of like how Southern Charm. I
yeah,
feel the same way about Southern Charm. However, like Madison getting pregnant, Madison kind of taking over Cameron's slot of being like the narrator of the show and really like
yeah,
stepping into that and becoming like the face of it. The guy still being so stupid 10 years in.
yeah.
Like you still get the old patterns, but with new stuff happening.
And they've cycled out people and cycled new people in. So I think, and it worked with Southern Charm. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know.
They need to figure out what's gonna work for Summer House in order to keep it going because it has grown into this thing where people had to watch. But now that the person they wanted to watch is gone, or the most like the biggest personality on the show is gone for the show. I'm not saying Paige has the biggest personality. I'm saying she was like the personality that people were coming to the show to watch, especially with
Totally.
what happened between her and Craig.
And Giggly
Like
Squad, who's getting big. Like, yeah,
huge.
it's
She has
just
her pajama line now, Daphne. She did a collaboration with DSW. She
Daphne.
did
There's
a
some, have you heard about the drama around Daphne?
with yeah, you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I actually don't know a lot about
Okay, so
it.
Daphne is her new pajama line that she came out with.
She left like drawings, right? At God, why am I blanking on names? What's her name?
Amanda?
From New York, Real Housewives of New York.
Erin.
The
No.
designer.
Jenna?
Jenna Lyons. Yeah, so she went to Jenna Lyons and left sketches there. And like Jenna Lyons, like J. Crew fashion designer, picked up this drawings and said these look familiar. And like apparently they're very similar to some other designers' sketches. And now they're like, there's some legal stuff happening.
I didn't know about that. I know about the other
Yeah.
drama that's happening with it.
Oh, tell me about that. I don't know about
So
that.
there's a couple things. So Paige dropped Daphne. She launched it the same day Amanda's new swimwear collection
Oh,
came out.
shit.
So Amanda was like, I don't get why she couldn't do it on a different day when she knew that was happening. And then the other thing is that she only offered it in like extra small to extra large.
Hmm.
And the plus size TikTok community was like, we want to support you too, but you're not offering stuff in our sizes. And she actually responded to one person being like, we just wanted to see how it would go, if it would sell, like what pieces. And everything sold out within like 30 minutes. So people are like, are you going to offer it now? Like, what's happening? So there's definitely like stuff happening there with her and all these things. But I mean, she wouldn't have had
That's so interesting.
Yeah. I mean, she wouldn't have had this without Summer House. She wouldn't have had this without
Why do you think
getting
she
to like
did? Why do you think she did drop it on the same day? That's
I don't know. I
weird.
think it's odd though, especially like her and Amanda are supposed to be in like a better place.
Yeah.
And like she has said, and Amanda has said that like they would love if Amanda and Hannah could bury the hatchet, if they could be okay. Because like Paige is friends with Amanda, but maybe now that the show, Paige isn't on the show anymore, she doesn't essentially have to associate with Amanda anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Paige was on Love Island.
Yes, she was.
Did you hear about did you
Her
listen to
fainting?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
first of all, that outfit horrible. I hate
She
that
said that
outfit.
wasn't the outfit she was supposed to wear.
Yeah. They
Which
made
also,
her.
why are it's Fiji? Like it's hot there,
Hey.
right? Why is Ariana also wearing like turtlenecks every day? Granted, like the rest of her body's
Yeah,
out, but like
what is
what
happening?
is and like leather and late like what is happening? You're in an island. She was
You
supposed to
passed
be
out.
on it for more of like the activity event challenge thing they
Challenge.
were doing, but she fainted halfway through, so they had to finish it without her. And I guess she was also supposed to do like another segment, but
Yeah.
because she fainted, they were like, "Okay, you're done."
Yeah. She's like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
She threw
Not
up
good.
too, I guess.
Yeah. A whole thing.
Gosh. That's funny though. I mean, it sucks, but it's funny.
No, it totally sucks. But I mean, it shows just like how big her reach is, you know? And like
Mhm.
good for her, you know, run with the platform you've been given. It's just like Ariana did. Like Ariana ha got a huge platform by being cheated on in front of the entire world.
Exactly.
And now she's been Roxy in Chicago on Broadway twice, once, twice.
Twice, I think. Yeah.
Um, She's now the host of Love Island USA. It's her second season doing it. She has her sandwich shop that seems to be thriving. She has like tons of sponsorships and like she did the battery commercial. She did trash commercial, like trash bag commercials because of all the drama that happened
She's a
on the
cute
show.
boyfriend. Like, she's just
Yeah,
set
she's ha
up.
also happy.
Yeah.
Like that's great. So like if Paige wants to follow in Ariana's footsteps, essentially by getting breaking up with someone that publicly and thriving off that, so be it.
Yeah, but props to her. I feel like she got famous from Giggly Squad more and like Summer House more than dating
Mhm.
Craig. Like it just like grabbed a whole nother group of viewers.
It grabbed a new audience.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The people who didn't know, didn't listen to Giggly Squad, didn't watch Summer House, but knew of Paige through Southern Charm.
Hmm.
I think she gained a bunch of followers and
Totally. Yeah.
fans that way, for sure.
Good for her.
We're Paige stans,
We are
so
huge fans of
we love
her.
Paige.
Yeah.
She's a good Italian girl, and we
Yeah.
love that.
And I'm an honorary Italian
Yes, you are.
girl. I'm an albino
No, you're not.
Italian.
This is weirdly tan for me. I never get this tan. This is like
Well, you were in Italy. So
I was in the homeland for a week, so
Alex was at in her homeland and she is now glowing.
and I'm home. Depression sets in.
Oh,
Post-travel depression is real, dude.
it is. Yeah, it is.
Sucks. You know what doesn't suck?
Hmm.
Quick shots of truth.
Quick shots. Quick shots of truth. Okay. I
I'm
will.
keeping that forever. That is
Please
the new
don't.
theme song for this section. I'm gonna do some like cool
No.
like bomb like not bombs, but like cool like firework effects with it.
Is this your revenge
For what?
for me using your quick shots sample for a while?
No, because I'm a good person and I won't do that to you.
Quick shots of
It was
truth.
a quick shots of truth.
That's right. That's
And
right.
I didn't know you were recording me, which was so funny.
It was hilarious. Okay. Should I go first or you go
Or
first?
whatever you
I'll
want.
ask
It's
you.
been so long, I don't remember where we left off.
What's your I'm Delulu, but it's working moment of the week?
I'm Delulu, but it's working.
Yeah.
Of the week?
Or just like the year, whatever,
I'm
whatever.
Delulu every day.
Just a moment. Like you did something unhinged, but it like worked out, I guess.
Where it worked out. That's the part I'm struggling on. I can think of a lot of unhinged things I've done recently, but I don't know how much they've worked out. I can think of one where it didn't work out. That's why I'm like, and I'm not sharing it. You know
Okay.
already. It's
Okay.
just I'm keeping that to myself. It's
I
between us. I
think I know.
guess you absolutely do know. It's whatever you're thinking.
Okay.
Unhinged, I was trying to find a new place to live, and instead of like waiting to see what else came on the market, I was like, nope, done. Sign the paperwork.
You signed the paperwork.
Sure did. I
Yes.
am
I'm gonna visit you.
moving on out.
I'm gonna stay in your spare bedroom.
Yes, you can.
Okay. What would your Real Housewives, no, we've done that. We're gonna skip that one.
What was it? What my tagline would be?
Yeah. For your current mental state. If you want to answer it, you can.
For my current mental state.
I don't know.
Oh no. Being Delulu is 100% the Salulu.
That's
That's so bad.
I
So
love
bad.
that you just
Can you
like
tell I
came
was
up
with
with that.
college children for a week?
I love it. Um, if you were a cocktail, what would your garnish be and why?
My garnish.
hmm I was thinking garnishes today.
I love it. Maybe a Sour Patch Kid,
Ooh.
or depending on what it is, I'm really into pickles right
I
now.
was gonna say pickle. Yeah.
Like I've been putting bread and butter pickles on like every sandwich I make.
I take shots of pickle juice for electrolytes.
Does that work?
It does.
I just use the electrolyte packets
What's the pettiest reason you've ever stopped talking to someone?
because they
We can
sucked.
skip, you can skip one if you want,
No,
because I
no,
have
no, 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 no. This
extra.
is I love when you give me extra. Pettiest reason I stopped talking to someone?
hmm
Oh, because they said that I was like talking to someone new when my therapist was like, you should re-download Hinge, just like desensitize yourself. And I'm like, great, sounds like fun. Except it wasn't. And I was talking to someone and they were telling me about like how they used to like skip class in high school and all this stuff. And I was like, haha, I don't know if we would have been friends in high school. And they're like, what? You were a nerd? And I stopped talking to them because I was like, excuse me? Like,
I
what's
mean,
also
nerds are
wrong with that?
cool. Yeah.
Why would you also go there? Also, I had a 2.6 in high school, so I would not call me a nerd.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I absolutely
I don't
did.
believe that.
I had a 2.6 my junior year trying to apply to college. Don't know how I got in.
I don't believe it. Anyway, you have 10 minutes to pack and disappear. What ridiculous thing are you still bringing, no matter what?
Ori,
Of course. But is there
besides my
something?
dog,
Yeah, yeah.
ridiculous thing? Oh, probably like some random bag I won't use. I always overpack handbags. I don't know why. It's not even like a thing for me. I use the same bag every day.
You
But
just feel like you might use it. Yeah.
for some reason when I travel, it's like all my outfits are planned out, which is great, but like when I come down to a handbag, I'm like I need 12.
Weird.
I will still pack all my underwear.
Yeah.
No matter if it's a 2-day trip or 2 weeks, I will pack every single pair. Don't care.
hmm
I need them.
Yeah.
That's like
Who
normal.
knows what's gonna happen? Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna hate this.
Good.
What's a red flag that you fully ignore because it's also a little hot?
Oh
Neck
no.
tattoos?
I've never dated anyone with a neck tattoo. I've dated
Knuckle
guys who've had
tattoos?
tat I've dated guys with knuckle tattoos, yeah. I don't think that's a red flag though.
Yeah, I don't
Depending on what they say
either.
or what they are. Hand tattoos I've also dated. Also depends on like what it is.
Yeah, it does.
Uh God, you know me too well. You're such an asshole.
I know.
Uh, because what's Alex's type usually? Tattooed divorced dads. Woohoo! Which I realize I've dated like a good amount, or like have gone on dates with enough. I could write a book at this point. Regardless of that, I would not consider any of that red flags. Red flag I
No.
ignore because it's kind of hot. Like Carl, like kind of dumb.
You like kind of dumb,
Kind
dude?
of dumb. Again, man child. I think it's She says, I like my boys who play hard to get. I like my men all incompetent. I agree with those statements.
Hmm. I like it. I get it.
Yeah, it's not good.
I get it.
Oh, well, great. I'm glad you saved that one for last.
Yeah.
Moving
Grand
on.
finale.
If you had to replace one cast member of Real Housewives with a Muppet, who are you swapping out? Which Muppet are you putting in for which person?
Oh God. I have a renewed anger for Erica Jane.
Jane.
So,
Agreed. Which Muppet would you put in her place?
um, Miss Piggy. I feel like it
Yeah.
has to be Miss Piggy. Yeah.
Miss Piggy has to be.
Yeah.
I am obsessed with her.
Same.
She is
She
incredible.
is amazing. She's an empowered woman.
She is, I, she's been there our entire lives, and yet I'm like, where have you been my entire life?
Right.
I should have paid more attention to you as a role model.
Right.
Like, what the fuck was I doing? You're stuck in a haunted house. Who is your horror movie survival squad? You can pick three, either fictional or real people.
Horror movie survival squad.
You're in a haunted house. Who are you picking?
My sister.
Of course. Actually, I would pick your sister too.
I don't know who else, like anyone in the universe.
Anyone, fictional, dead, alive,
Bill
I
Nye
don't
the
care. The
Science
world's
Guy.
fuck yeah. I love that. Uh-huh. Who else? You got one more.
Dude, like explain everything away with science, you know?
God, I love him.
Make it not scary. Um, who the fuck else? Oh God. Who's the robot murderer?
You're
There's like
gonna
a
need to
new
narrow
one.
that one down.
The robot AI doll. Megan?
Megan?
Yeah, Megan.
Also, side note, have you watched Murderbot yet with Alexander Skarsgård?
Yes, we are watching that. It's really good. He is
Also,
all
just
the
staring at
Skarsgårds.
him for like 30 minutes a week. I'm
Oh,
like, okay.
I was it him who played it, or was that his
It was his
brother?
brother.
Yeah, his brother
That whole family.
is so hot as an evil guy.
Would that be a red flag you'd
That
ignore that you think is kind of hot?
kind of evil people. Yes.
Because he's super hot but kind of evil, but like I can get over that. I
Yeah.
can change him.
Yeah.
If you were a kitchen appliance, which one would you be and why?
The first thing that comes to mind is a spatula.
Why would you be a
I
spatula?
don't know.
Okay,
I'm
that's
like
fine.
kind of weird.
Spatulas aren't weird. I use them every
Useful but
day.
weird, I guess.
They're they have multiple uses.
Yeah, yeah.
You can flip,
But
you
also they're
can
kind of
scrape.
funny looking, I guess.
You're not funny looking.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. So rude to yourself. What conspiracy theory would you just start for fun?
Oh my God. Anything
Anything, just for fun.
like to fuck with people?
Yeah, if that's
Sorry
the
for
mood
saying
you're in.
the F word
I'm
so
sorry,
many
I've dropped it
times.
like 12 times this entire episode. I don't know why you're apologizing now. We're nearing the end.
God, I don't know. It would be something like if you eat glitter, you become a fairy or something, and then everyone would be
I
eating
love
glitter.
that.
I have no idea. I can't think of
I
one.
actually love that. That's great. All
Glitter
right, we'll go
poop
with that.
for everyone.
Glitter poop for everyone. You have to replace your laugh with a sound effect. Which one are you picking?
You should like go through one of our episodes because I laugh so much and just
And
replace
just
it with
change them out.
um gosh, like a donkey or something. Hee-haw. Yeah, I don't
When
know.
I wrote down this question, I was like, maybe I'd want to be like the dial-up tone.
Ooh,
Uh,
I can't do that.
Like,
I like both of our dial-up impressions.
I do
The
too. I don't
youngins have
actually remember the
no clue what
last
we're
time.
talking about.
I don't remember the last time I heard dial-up.
Me either.
Ugh, good times. Or I'd want it to be every time I open my mouth, it's like, you got mail.
Ooh, the AOL.
Bring AOL back.
Hmm.
Guys, don't forget to like, review, subscribe, leave a comment, follow us. Please, please, please. We're going to be doing so many cool things now, too. Our Patreon is going to be up soon, and we're going to start putting some stuff behind a paywall.
Hey, hey,
Um,
support us.
and that's it. Thanks for listening. Yeah. Anything
Yeah,
else?
that's
Did I
it.
do it? I did it!
You did it.
Who knew? Usually I have no idea what to do. I'm like
Bye.
woken out of it by this point. Okay,
Goodbye.
bye.